My name is Staff Sgt. Foley. This is the around the body bowline with a double figure of 8. The purpose of this harness is to be used as a secondary safety harness. It's commonly used as a secondary safety harness in certain aircraft operations and used as a swimmer safety line in waterborne operations. To begin tying my around the body bowline, I'm going to start at the position of ready ropes. I'm going to go ahead and take my standing end and place it off to the side. With my rope laying on the ground in front of me, I'm going to go ahead and step over it. I'm going to reach behind my back, grab a length of my working end, and seat it high up onto my back underneath my armpits. With my opposite hand, I've created a window between my arm and the rope. I'm going to take my working end and punch it through that window, forming an X. With my working end, I'm going to route it through that second window at the bottom of my X between my body. And from here, I'm going to take my working end, route it under my standing end, and back over, forming a bite and pulling it through to dress my bowline. From here, I'll be left with a bite around my standing end, secured with a loop. My pigtail will be exiting on the middle of my loop. From here, I'm going to tighten my around the body bowline, tight against my body, and then incorporate an overhand safety, ensuring it's touching but not impeding the knot, and I'm still lifted with a minimum of 4 inches of pigtail. Once I've set my around the body bowline, what I'll be left with is a bite around my standing end, secured with a loop. I'll have an overhand safety, touching, not impeding my knot, with a minimum of 4 inches of pigtail. I can fit no more than a fist in between my fixed loop and my body, and my fixed loop is sitting underneath my armpits, but above my sternum. At this point, I'm going to measure out an arm's length of my standing end, creating a bite. With this bite, I'm going to route it over my hand and then back over in front of itself, forming 2 loops. I'm going to take the loop that's closest to me and punch it through the back loop. From here, securing my bite, wrapping it all the way around, and then punching it from front to back through both loops, creating my double figure of 8. Once I've ensured that I have no twists and that my double figure of 8 is completely dressed, I'm going to go ahead and set my knot, taking out all of the slack. What I'll be left with is a loop that can fit at least a carabiner in a completely dressed and set double figure of 8 that's no more than an arm's length away from my body. This is the around the body bowline, the double figure of 8. This is a 60-second harness. Starting at the position of ready ropes, I'm going to take my standing end, indicated by my red tape, and place it off to the side. Next, I'm going to step over my rope. I'm going to reach behind my back, grabbing a length of my working end, and seat it up high onto my back, underneath my armpits. From here, I've created a window between my arm and my rope. I'm going to take my working end, indicated by my yellow tape, and punch it through that window, forming an X. With my working end, I'm going to route it from ground to sky through that window between my X and my body. From here, I'm going to take my working end, route it under my standing end, forming a bite. Pulling my working end back through and dressing my bowline. From here, although my bowline is tied correctly, when I have a bite around my standing end, secured with a loop. My pigtail is running on the inside of my fixed loop. From here, I'm going to tighten down my bowline, ensuring it stays between my armpits and my sternum. From here, I'm going to incorporate an overhand safety, ensuring it is touching but not impeding the knot, and I'm still left with a minimum of 4 inches of pigtail. Finally, I'm checking that my loop is tight enough around my body that I can't fit more than a fist between my loop and my body. Once my around the body bowline is tied, I'm going to go ahead and tie my double figure of 8. I'm going to drape my standing end over my thumb and measure out an arm's length, forming a bite. With my bite, I'm going to drape it over my hand, and fold it over, and bring it around over itself, forming 2 loops. With my front loop, I'm going to take that and push it through behind my back loop. Resecure my bite. I'm going to wrap it around and punch it through both loops, forming my double figure of 8. I'm checking to ensure that my double figure of 8 has no twists. And from there, I'm going to set my knot, pulling out all of the slack. This is the around the body bowline with a double figure of 8 tied to JOTC time and standard. This is a 60-second harness.